Hello, I'm Andy,
And I'm Amy.
and we've been together for 6 years. And sometimes,
Almost six. Six in like a week and a half.
yeah, basically six. And sometimes I don't like you,
And sometimes I don't like you.
and that's okay. And I think that statement that we just said is something that's almost heretical to a lot of like people when they think about relationships or they think about love. A lot of people put or they have this assumption that in a relationship, you have to like each other every single millisecond for the next like 50 years or however long you might be together. You're never allowed to have a single moment where you're a little bit grumpy with your partner or a little bit frustrated or you're feeling stressed or you need some space. People will, in those moments, where they're grumpy or they're sad or they're a little annoyed with their partner, they'll start asking themselves and questioning and saying, is something wrong? Like, I thought a relationship was supposed to be all sunshine and rainbows and perfect and Hollywood and Disney fairy tale and unicorns fucking dancing in the background and amazing and fireworks. Something must be wrong because I'm annoyed with you right now, or I don't feel super close with you right now.
And it was definitely something that I went through. I probably wasn't as extreme as what you said. I didn't expect it to be a fairy tale, but the feeling of not liking your partner definitely worried me quite a lot.
In the early years, yeah, you used to stress about that.
But the nature of it is, especially if you're going to be with somebody for a long time, and especially if they're the person that you spend the most of your time with, the nature of it is that you're going to have bad days sometimes. You're going to be going through stuff. You're going to have stress come up. You're not going to feel perfect. They're going to do something that annoys you, and you might not like them.
Especially because the vast majority of human beings don't have tools or techniques or skills like stoicism. That's something that took us many years. I only started really getting into Stoicism a couple of years ago. And so I would make the classic mistake that most humans do, or the default behavior, which is I would blame other people for my emotions. I would say, you, Imogen, didn't do the dishes properly, or, you canceled on me last minute. I'm angry now. And I would blame you, and I would blame friends, and I would blame people outside. I'd blame the external world for my emotions. And I didn't take full responsibility for my emotions. And that's how most people are, by the way. That's like 99% of humans.
Yeah, a lot of that pain and suffering comes from the idea that they should have done something differently or they need to change in order for me to be happy. But the nature of being with another person is that they're not always going to be your perfect puppet and do exactly what they
That
want to do. Sometimes your desires or your wants are going to conflict with one another. And that's the nature of having two individual people with their own wants and needs.
Yeah, people are their own people and they have their own likes and dislikes and preferences. And sometimes they won't do exactly what you want.
Mm.
The outside world is never going to do everything that you want it to. That's kind of the great awakening that happens, or at least happened with us and our relationship and life in general, was realizing, wait, like everything that my ego wants, my ego wants you to be a perfect little girlfriend who does literally everything I want all the fucking time. And you wanted me to be a perfect little boyfriend who does everything you want all the time. That's what most people want. That little childlike ego part of you, it's actually way more freeing if you let go of that and love the person that's in front of you and accept who they are. And that doesn't mean that you accept them doing things that you're not comfortable with. If they start punching you every day, you can accept that and then leave. But within reason,
Mm.
it's allowing space for the other person to be the person that they are and that they want to be, and not needing them to be your perfect little puppet. And more to the point, not needing the relationship to be perfect.
Mm.
I think that was the biggest, or has been the biggest change for us over the last, or the biggest epiphany for the last 6 years, has been the relationship doesn't have to be perfect. As long as it's adding to my life and adding to your life, we can improve it slowly over time. And if there's moments where there's a little bit of distance between us, or we're going through a rough patch and we don't quite know what the answer is going to be, that's okay. Like, it isn't bad just because we're going through a challenge.
And in those moments, fixating on the things that are wrong or the fact that you don't like your partner or those negative feelings can just reiterate them because there's
Mm.
that fear and that panic. You're more focused on the things that you're not liking, and it's going to make the whole situation worse in comparison to, I think, what we've been able to adopt more recently, where if there are periods where you don't like your partner, you kind of just relax into it and acknowledge that like this is fine, this will pass, and it's okay.
And then you take the steps to improve it a lot of the time as well.
It ironically passes faster.
Yeah.
And it's not as painful. You're not suffering so much, getting panicked or worried or focusing on, I don't like my partner. Oh my God, this is terrible. Or my partner is terrible sometimes.
But we used to think that, you and I, in the, I don't know, maybe like the first 4 years of our relationship, if one of us was a little grumpy, or even if we were a little stressed, even if it had nothing to do with the other person, we would want to jump in there and fix that. Me especially, I would want to. Yeah, I think it's just a very masculine thing, right? That when your female partner, or when you're, I guess, when other people are sad, or they're going through something, or they're stressed, or they're unhappy, you want to jump in there and fix it. Especially if the answer seems very apparent and obvious to you, you want to jump in there and be like, just do this, try this, just do this. I promise it'll improve if you do what I say. Just do this, and that comes from a beautiful place. Like, you're trying to help your partner. That's beautiful. That's amazing. I love that. But it also can come with a lot of expectations of like, I need you to listen to my advice. I need you to be happier. I need you to be more grateful for this relationship. I need you to just cheer up because I don't feel good when you're sad. And I think it's best typified by the advice that I really don't resonate with. And I've done a podcast about this. You know, the quote or the meme that people say where it's like, happy wife, happy life. Every time I hear that, I'm like, holy shit. So if your wife is ever unhappy, which by the way, she's a human, she's probably going to have a point in her life where she's unhappy because you as the man do as well sometimes. So if she's ever unhappy, what? Your life goes to shit? Your relationship falls apart. You go, oh my God, my wife's not happy. Holy fuck, I have to stop everything that I'm doing and put all of my time and energy into essentially forcing my wife to be happy when she's not currently happy. It's almost like you're not allowing space for the wide gamut of human emotions. If you're trying to fix your partner's bad mood or sad moods all the time, you're not just letting them fucking feel sad. Sometimes people want to just feel a bit fucking sad for half a second. Think about in your own life times where you've been angry about something or frustrated. It's like, in that moment, if I came up to you and said, hey, stop being angry. Hey, calm down. You know, if you really want to make someone angry, say calm down to them when they're already angry. Say, hey, sir, listen, I need you to calm down. It's like, that's going to go well, isn't it? That never goes. Nobody who's angry is like, oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, no, yeah, good point. I will calm down. Thank you. Thank you for empathizing with my anger and just telling me to get over it. So, you know, it comes from this good place of wanting to help your partner. But that was something that really helped us, is getting to a point where it's like, it's okay if my partner is annoyed at me or at something else. It's okay if he or she is sad. It's okay if there's a little bit of relationship tension.
Yeah, or I'm just feeling irritated by certain
Yep.
behaviors. And part
Yep.
of that is, as we said, not needing them to change, but simultaneously, that doesn't mean that you have to be there or be around it a lot. I think part of what's been successful for us is also having the tools to deal with that when we're not feeling like we're going to be very good at being around one another. So we don't live together. And I think
That's the biggest help. Yeah. Yeah.
that's been a super positive thing. And obviously that might be a bit extreme for some people, but that's honestly something that's really important to us because
Mhm.
we spend a lot of time together. We work
Hours and hours and hours a day. Yep.
Obviously we're recording content together. We talk about work a lot together.
We have naughty times together.
We're just spending time together a lot. And part of that means that we might want some distance sometimes. And I just live across the road, but
Yeah, you're literally like 30 seconds walk that way. I can literally see your apartment from my apartment if I stand on my balcony.
it's also means that when I haven't had enough sleep, or I'm just feeling like I'm not able to deal with particular behaviors at
Yeah,
a
like if
particular
I'm
point
in
in
an
time.
energetic mood and you're grumpy or you're tired, yeah, there might be a little bit of dissonance there.
Yeah, and I don't need you to change, but I also don't need to spend the next 6 hours with you while I'm not feeling in the mood to talk or be around
Yeah,
anybody.
I think a big part of that, something that you just said there, essentially what you're saying is taking ownership of your own emotions and feelings. So I love that you said, I don't need you to change. That was something that took us a little while, like quite a few years to really understand. Is like, okay, if let's say I'm super, like me, Andy, I'm super happy and energetic, which is like 99% of the time, I'm like very fucking energetic. Maybe you can't tell on camera. I bet you that they can tell on camera. But
You're,
like,
if anything, more energetic off camera.
I'm so chill on camera compared to like what I'm like in real life. Like I'm fucking chill on these podcasts compared to real life. And I understand that like ADHD energy, that like fucking like little kid, like a 3-year-old child who's just had fucking sugar, that energy, sometimes you don't want that.
Mm.
Like if you're tired and you're chill. And for a long time, you would argue with that. You'd get like frustrated. You'd be like, Andy, why are you so energetic right now? Like you try and get me to change.
Mm.
You'd be like, Andy, you need to calm down. You need to chill. And I'd be like, but I don't want to. Like this is how I am right now. And I would do the same to you sometimes, but in the opposite. If there were times when you were super chilled, I would say to you, come on, get excited, get energized. Why are you being so like, not depressed, but like, why are you being so like boring?
Mm.
Or if you were sad, I'd be like, stop being sad, be happy. Why don't you be happy like me? And it took us quite a few years, like I said, probably 4 years to really get to a point where we were like, wait, why am I trying to change the other person's emotions?
Yeah, which is understandable because your ego wants to jump in there and
Your
say
ego wants the other
they shouldn't
person
be
to
doing
do,
that. Just fucking stop
yeah,
it. Do what I want to do. Like that's that very instinctive part of you that just wants what you want.
yeah. I want you to be happy right now. Well, I want you to be more chill right now. And then you just like butt heads with each other.
Yeah, and as you said, taking ownership can actually make those conversations a little bit easier, and it's something that we get better and better at because I think the most one of the more common scenarios is you're very energetic. I'm not in the mood for very energetic.
Yeah, you're chill. I'm energetic.
Like 100 out of 10 energetic. And I say like, "Hey, I would like a quiet night tonight. If that's not something that you can give me, let me know and I'll probably just do my own thing tonight."
Yeah, we're much better at taking ownership of that.
Versus the conversation of like, "You need to stop being like this. Stop it. You're annoying me."
Yeah, you never say that anymore. Like you basically never say that. You're annoying me, but you used to say that so much in the first year or two. I would say the same fucking thing to you. Like if you were sad, I'd be like, it's so annoying that you're sad. Stop being sad. Like literally, I was trying to change your emotion and tell you that you're wrong for feeling the way that you're currently feeling. But like you said, as soon as we started taking ownership of that, and I would say to you sometimes in the, like when we started really doing this, I still even say this now every now and then. If you're sad, I'll just be like, hey, look, today I feel like just having a happy day. I can tell that you're really sad.
Mm.
Do you want to talk to your friends about this, or what if you go and do something that makes you happy? Like go do some art, go watch a funny movie, go do like whatever you want to do by yourself, and I'm going to have like a happy chill day by myself.
Mm.
And you do the same thing. You're like, Andy, you're hyperactive today. I'm always
Every day.
hyperactive, but
You're
like
hyperactive
yeah,
every
no.
day.
But you're extra hyperactive right now, and I can't, like, I'm just not in that mood. I don't have the patience for it. Andy, why don't you go have a hyperactive fucking day and do whatever you want to do? And I'll have a chill art day. And why don't I message you 3 hours from now and we see how we both feel? And maybe if in that point I'm feeling a bit more energetic and I can match your energy level, or maybe Andy, you've like gotten all the energy out by that point, yeah, we'll hang out then.
And then, funnily enough, that means that we each feel so much more restored, or we have so much more to give when we do actually spend
Because we're
time with
not
each
doing
other.
something we don't want to do. We're not putting up with each other. I think
Mm.
that's something to underline. You and I never put up with each other anymore, but we did put up with each other a lot in the first 4 years.
Yeah, and that feeling in the past was that it's that very common analogy of just like all these feelings getting bottled and bottled and bottled, and that frustration,
Suppressing,
and you're
yeah.
holding it in until one point you're like, I can't fucking deal with this. And then you get
And then
very
you snap at your
emotional.
partner. Yeah.
Yeah. But now, because we're constantly doing things the way that we want to be doing them, it's so much easier to be more happy, more loving, more peaceful with one another because we're doing what we want to do almost all of the time.
We basically have integrity now, which wasn't something that we had before because we believed the lies that, again, most people believe, which is like, I have to be a good partner and I have to always spend time with my partner and I'm never allowed to ask for space.
Mm.
I can never just say, hey, I'm feeling grumpy today. Is it okay if we don't hang out? Like, that would be bad. They'd get offended. They would get hurt. And in the first couple of years, yeah, you and I did get offended and hurt if one of us said, listen, I feel like I kind of just want to be alone today. I just want a bit of space. Is that okay? Like we would get really butthurt and be like, don't you love me? Like,
Yeah, there's like fear around that request. It almost
yeah.
feels like a red flag that's the beginning of the
Why do
end.
you want space for me? Is
It's
something
yeah,
wrong?
it's a signal
Yeah.
that something bad is going to happen rather than just a healthy way to take time for yourself.
Yeah. And a better way of phrasing it is rather than saying, like, we don't phrase it like this. We don't say, like, oh, I need space from you. Because, yeah, that might sound combative.
Mm.
We say, I want to look after myself today. I want to take care of myself today. Today, I feel like having a chill day, or I feel like just being alone. I want to look after myself. I want to give myself a bit of self-love, and that's much easier to understand. And you can see your partner, oh, they're just trying to look after themselves, they just want to love themselves. It's got nothing to do with me. It's not that I've annoyed them or some shit. They don't have a lot of patience today, or they're just a bit sad and they want to be alone. And again, there might be a big part of you that wants to jump in and fix it. And if your partner is saying, I want to be alone and this is the best thing for me, your ego might go, no, talking to me would be the best thing for you. Like, let me help. And that was something that I struggled with for the first, I don't know, 4 years of our relationship. You would literally say, listen, I'm feeling really sad. I just want to go and watch a fucking Disney princess movie and that will make me feel better. Can you just let me go do that? And then I'd be like, no, we're going to talk about this. Like, let me help, please.
Sure.
I'm here for you. Don't
And
like
you would
bury
say
your head.
like, you're pushing me away.
I would say
and
like, you're pushing me away. Like, why won't you let me help? And you were like, I want you to help, but like, what would be best for me right now is watching a fucking Disney movie. I know myself well enough to know what will make me feel better. I've been myself for my entire life. Let me go watch a movie. And we would, I think it was coming from a good place, like from me, but I would say that, right? Like, we're all the hero of our own story. But then again, I think everyone is trying to do their best, I think it was coming from a good place, that I wanted to genuinely help. But at the same time, there was a big ego part of me that's like, but if she goes and watches movies or does her own thing, doesn't that mean she might need me a little bit less? And I think we believed the lie that, again, 99% of people believe, which is a relationship will only last if both people need each other. That is how most relationships are built. They're built on need. Like, most relationships are built on neediness. I need you and they need me. And if they ever don't need me or I don't need them, something must be wrong. And it's taken us a good 6 years at this point to really untangle that and let go of that neediness and be together because we want to be, not because we need to be. And a big part of what has helped is, like we said, saying, this is what I want. Like, I want to go and have some space. I want to go watch a movie, or I want to, in my case, I want to have a very happy, energetic day. Maybe you're a bit sad. I'm going to do what I want. And being okay with that not involving you sometimes. Like, you don't always have to fucking fix each other's moods. You don't always have to like each other. You don't always have to spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week together. Or even if you do, you're allowed to have a little bit of space. And I think that took us a long time. I think it's taken a lot of pressure off to let each other feel whatever we feel.
And it is okay sometimes that it's normal, especially if this is an idea that you've not really explored before.
This is radical. I understand we're talking about radical ideas, and we didn't come up with these ideas. Byron Katie, Mark Manson, most decent psychologists, that's where these ideas come from. But these are radical ideas.
Yeah, and so it is very normal, as we said before, for the ego to jump in and say like, "Fuck, I wish they wouldn't do that. Like, that's so annoying. They should just stop doing that." Like,
Yeah, if my partner would, if he would just take the fucking trash out every night, then I wouldn't have to nag him. And it's like, you just nag him about something else. Like that
Yeah.
wouldn't solve all of the. Also, if you want the trash taken out that badly, why don't you just take the trash out? If it's so easy that he should just jump up and do it, well, then I know it'd be easy for you, right? Because you're saying that he should just jump up and do it, and then you can flip the genders on that and blah blah blah
Sure.
blah blah. But
The point that I was making is that even I now sometimes have those, the thoughts you can't help. Thoughts just pop into your brain of like, they shouldn't be doing that. And
they
that's
should be
normal
different.
and that's okay. And sometimes you might even say something that's not in line with, I'm going to be accepting of the way they're going to be. And it's okay if I don't like this person. But it is just a practice thing of
Yeah.
continually
Letting
reminding,
go.
yeah, and reminding yourself that like they're their own person and what they want is not always going to be what I want. And sometimes I want things that they don't want. And that's the way that it goes.
Yeah, and I think then you can move towards what might be termed unconditional love, which I think is a scary concept for a lot of people. And they hear that and they're like, unconditional love. So I should just let my partner do whatever they want to me, and they can just like fucking cheat on me and stab me and all of that. And what, then I still love them? And it's like, yeah. Now that doesn't mean that you're still with them. But what if you did love your partner no matter what they did? What if they cheated on you and you still had love for them? And maybe cheating is a boundary. So you say, hey, we're going to break up now. But I still love you very much. I know you had your reasons for why you cheated on me. I don't hate you, but I am going to go my own way now because you did
Mm.
cheat on me, and that's just not what I'm looking for.
And
And you have
even
love, and you don't need them to be anything other than what they are.
and even as that happens, you can still feel pain
Yeah, you're allowed to
or
feel whatever you
betrayal
want to
or
feel, of course.
whatever it might be, but love can still exist amongst those feelings.
Yeah, but I think so many people, and we were for the first 4 or 5 years, 4 years of our relationship. I think most people have a very conditional love. It's like, I will love you if you do what I want.
Mm.
And if you don't do what I want, then I can't love you. I need you to do what I want, and then I'll get back to loving you again. And if there's ever a point where I don't like you, that's your fault,
Mm.
or it's the relationship's fault, or we have to fix it. I need things to be different. I need them to be the way that I want them to be. I need them to be sunshine and rainbows. I need them to be perfect. I need you to always do what I want. I need to do what you want. People believe that too, as well, where they get like nice guy syndrome, so to speak. Or, like a very submissive woman or something, and she's very passive and she just does everything her husband wants because she's terrified of ever getting it wrong. I think that all of these needs or this neediness that can get caught up in a relationship of like, I need you to do what I want. I need to do what you want. I need the relationship to be perfect. I need other people to approve of our relationship. I need you to think that I'm attractive. I need you to have sex with me. I need you to not cheat on me. I need you to do this. And by the way, if you have boundaries and you don't want your partner to cheat on you, fair enough. But like, I'm saying getting caught up in the neediness of it, of like, holy fuck, what if they ever cheat on me? Something terrible would happen. It's like, no, you guys would probably just break up and then you'd be happy and you'd move on and you'd find someone else. And maybe you grieve through that. You're sad, blah, blah, blah. You'd be okay, basically. Essentially, what we're saying here, the whole point of this podcast or this video is if you can get into the habit of adding the sentence, and that's okay, to the end of everything, it brings so much freedom and peace and just a feeling of you're okay.
Mm.
My partner is mad at me right now, and that's okay. The relationship isn't going perfect right now, and that's okay. I need some space from my partner, and that's okay. They didn't do the dishes when I wanted them to, and that's okay. They're annoyed at me, and that's okay. It's basically accepting everything that happens and then choosing what you do next. And again, if there's a deal breaker and someone oversteps a boundary or something, you don't have to stay. But like accepting the fact that, okay, they overstepped a boundary
Mm.
or they made me really annoyed. I got annoyed from what they did. Okay, what do I want to do next? And again, these are very advanced topics and they might seem a little bit out there. And so if you're looking for a place to start with, I would probably say Byron Katie is a really good place to start with her book, I Need Your Love, Is That True? She talks about a lot of the concepts that we've talked about here today. Then I would probably go through my relationships or our relationships playlist. We have a whole playlist on YouTube with like a whole bunch of these videos that talks about some of these more advanced concepts. And again, maybe we can really make this really clear. We didn't just get these concepts immediately. Like, you and I argued so much in the first 4 years of our relationship. We had multiple points where we either said, I'm breaking up with you, and we either did for like 24 hours or a couple of hours, or we came really close to it.
Mm.
Like, probably like 5 times.
Came close to it.
Yeah, we were not like a perfect, fucking happy, loving, rational, kind couple. We just weren't. And you add in the stress of like 2020 and the lockdowns and the fact that we moved like 3 times during all of that. And that was a very like not happy period for us, and that we built a business together, like this business. This was not fucking easy to build, this community and this channel and the business. We've gone through a lot of stress. Our open relationship has brought some jealousy and insecurity and uncertainty for quite a long time for many different reasons. And we've talked about that in videos. We can sit down and talk about it more at some point if we want to. But there's been a lot of moments where things weren't perfect. And so it's not like we're not advocating for just being perfectly rational and like, oh yes, I unconditionally love my partner from day one and I'm perfect and I never have emotions. And if I do have emotions, that's okay. And I'm never going to judge them and I'm never going to judge myself. And I'm just like a little namaste Buddhist monk. And I'm like Mother Teresa out here just loving everyone. Like, we weren't like that. We've taken the better part, I've been improving for 16 years, basically. This has taken a long time and like a billion freaking moments where we took what seemed like a backward step and didn't know what we were doing. So yeah, patience, progress, not perfection. Improve a little bit each day if you want to. You don't have to do anything that we ever talk about, but this is what is waiting for you on the other side if you're willing to be brave. It does take a leap of faith to unconditionally love your partner and to be okay with whatever happens and to not need them, to be very in the relationship, but not needy for the relationship, if that makes sense. You and I participate very deeply in this relationship. We spend like 5 hours minimum a day together every single day. We do a weekly check-in every single week, and we have done 300 and something of those in our relationship. We're very fucking invested, but we'll also be okay if we ever break up. We'll be okay if one of us dies. We'll be okay if one of us is ever grumpy or sad or not happy or the relationship has tension, which 2 weeks ago, we had big fucking conversations over like a whole week about how there was some like distance in the relationship. I think the thing was we just said, that's okay, we'll figure it out. And we did. Yeah. If people would like more help with relationships or sex, dating, business, any other goals, what could these lovely, beautiful little human beings sitting on the other side of that camera? Hello, by the way. What could these beautiful human beings do? What would they like to do?
They can reach out. They can send an email.
Email to who? Who would they email, Imogen? And who would they be reaching out to?
You, but I will be receiving said email.
Wow, because you screen all my emails. You're my beautiful secretary.
Yeah, there are options. You can...
But what would they be emailing for? What would these beautiful people email for?
With everything that you just...
For coaching, woman.
Oh, yeah. But
See,
the thing that
this
they're
is why-
emailing for
This is why we don't always like each other.
is to help with the things that they're struggling with.
Yes, yes. I ruined your coaching pitch.
But yes, there are $200 calls.
Hell yeah.
Once off 1 hour calls with you where...
Those go for more than an hour, let's be honest. I advertise all of my coaching
But
as
if
like...
you're going to advertise it for like 2 hours, then people are going to expect 2 hours.
Yeah.
So you say it's 1 hour.
My
if it
coaching
goes
calls
over,
that are
goes
meant to
over.
go for 1 hour end up being like several hours, but...
Yes, if you just want one-on-one time with Andy to ask some questions, get a sense of how he might be able to help you, there are those available.
Absolutely.
And if you want to be part of the hardcore 3-month package, where
The
you get to
coaching
be
program.
part of the members only community of other guys and girls that are going after their goals, doing amazing things, then there is the coaching program as well.
Hell yeah. And we got payment plans for that. So don't let money be an issue. We have people in there for sex and dating, for business, for losing weight, for just spirituality and mental health. We have people in there improving their relationships. We have 2 people in there right now that are parents, one of whom is working basically entirely on being a better father. And that's been a lot of fun. We've had a blast with that. We've been giving him some like mind-blowing, completely non-mainstream ideas of like how to raise a child, and some of that stuff has been like life-changing.
Because I think part of it, like, honestly, the main reason that people come to you is because we all just want to be happy.
People come to us to be happy, sure, yeah.
And I think initially people reach out and think that like having a fantastic sex life and sleeping with a bunch of women is going to make me happy. And then like I think that the guy that you're speaking about, the father, I think the reason that he reached out was to work on his sex life. And then,
So many people come to the coaching for that. They're like, I just want to get laid. And we're like, no, you don't. You want to be happy.
but yeah, and throughout that process, realize that like, hey, actually, maybe being the best father to my kids that I possibly can be is going to be what makes me happy, and doing so in a peaceful way. So
yeah,
maybe I'm actually going to work more on that.
Yeah. And again, so many people come to the coaching for sex and dating, and that's beautiful. You know, we get them laid, we get a lot of sexual experiences with them and stuff, but like, that's not why they're doing it. They want to have the sex to be happy. So we focus on that. How can you be happy while you also have sex or build your fatherhood and all of that? This father, I want to quickly like shout him out because he's such a fucking lovely human being. And there's a chance he might watch this. He's unbelievably brave and courageous. And he has taken a lot of the philosophies that we've given him and he's just run with them. And probably the one that's helped him the most is give yourself permission to suck, which you'll all hear me talk about a lot on the channel. He, as I think maybe 99% of parents do, he told this story or put this pressure on himself that he had to be a perfect father. His kids are 6 and 7, and he told himself, like, I have to do a good job. I have to be head of the household, because he's a single father, by the way. And so he's like, I have to do a fucking good job because these kids need me, and I have to be perfect. And slowly but surely over the months, we've gotten him to see, like, what if you give yourself permission to suck? Because he's really been beating himself up and, you know, struggling to sleep at night sometimes, going like, I'm not a good father, I'm a bad father. And when he believes that, when he feels like he's not a good father, what does he do? He yells at his kids. He gets frustrated with his kids because he's feeling frustration in himself I'm not a good father, I'm doing a bad job, this is sucking. And then if he tells his kids to do something and they say no, that brings up all that insecurity of, I'm a bad father. If I was a good father, they would do what I said, because that's a big lie that parents have. You know, a good parent means that their kids will just be a fucking slave and do everything that they want all the time the first time they ask. It's a very painful story to believe that. And so that frustration would mean that he would yell at his kids and get grumpy and be like, come on, I've told you like 3 times, do this. And I think we would all agree it's not that that's a bad parent. I don't talk in terms of good or bad parenting, but like it would be kinder to be a parent who's loving and patient rather than the one who yells at their kids. I think we all kind of agree with that. And so we really, really, really drilled it into him. What if you give yourself permission to suck with this? What if you just be the father that you are right now? And I said to him very clearly, do you think that you know everything about fatherhood? And he was like, no. And I was like, do you think you're a perfect father right now? And he's like, no. And I was like, then fucking accept that. Fucking accept that you're not a perfect father. You're just the father that you are right now, and aim to be a little bit better over time. Just try and make progress rather than this unrealistic, insane expectation or burden that you're putting on yourself to be a perfect fucking father. That's not fair. You know, that's just not kind to yourself. It's not fucking realistic, and it's not fair. And he embraced this idea of giving himself permission to suck. And we've gotten him to, or he's been courageous enough to take the leap of faith and do some insane shit that's been so unbelievably courageous. I think the biggest one was he's been terrified that his kids would ever find out that he doesn't know all the answers and that he doesn't really know what he's doing. And he's figuring it out as he goes along. And I said, what if you just, that thing you just said to us, what if you said that to your kids? What if you said to your kids, hey, daddy doesn't know everything. Daddy doesn't know exactly what he's doing, but I'm here to figure it out. Would you like to figure this out with me? And he was like, I couldn't do that. I can't tell my parents that I can't tell my kids that I don't have all the answers. And I was like, why? What bad thing happens if you do? And like, you know, all these fears and the stories and all of that comes up. And we were able to get him, I should say he chose to sit down with his 6 and 7-year-old kids and say, all right, listen up, kids. Here's what's going on. Daddy doesn't know what he's doing. I've never been a daddy before. This is my first time. I don't know all the answers. I don't know everything that I'm doing. I'm trying my best. I love you both dearly, but I'm a single father and I don't know how the hell this all works. But would you two, together with me, like to build the most amazing family that we could ever build? Would you guys like to help me? And I will help you. And together, you know, we can all figure out if something is working, if something isn't working. We can figure out how to make both of you happy and me happy. And we can build a beautiful family together. And he said his kids, especially his daughter, was like eyes wide open. And she was like, what? Like, why are you being this honest? And he was like, well, because like I've lied to you for a long time. I haven't ever been honest with you guys and just told you that I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to improve. And he said it was the most transformative, beautiful conversation and experience that he's ever had in his life, because he's like, I got to be honest with my kids. And I was so terrified that they were going to like freak out and be like, oh my God, daddy doesn't know what he's doing. We're all going to fucking die. Oh my God. But he said, no, they stepped up to the plate and they were like, hell yeah, let's build a beautiful family together. And then on top of that, he had a separate, similar conversation where he was beating himself up and saying, I'm a bad father. I'm not a good father. And I said, yeah, and he said, I'm so terrified that my kids will think I'm a bad father. And I said, what if you ask both of your kids to give you 3 reasons why you're a good father? And his daughter's one was so fucking beautiful. I think she ended up writing like 10 reasons or something. And it was just written poorly in fucking crayon, badly drawn. It's like the most, we have it in the coaching program. So if any of you want to see it, come join the coaching program. You can see this beautiful, he posted a photo of it, this beautiful letter that she wrote, where she's like, here's 3 reasons my daddy is like a beautiful father. You know, he listens to me and he loves me. You know, he's so kind to me and he wants me to be happy. Like she wrote this shit and he was like crying when he was telling us about this. And then I got him to say to her, tell me one thing that daddy could do better. Like, give me room for improvement. And his son did the same. And they said, well, at night you tend to get grumpy, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'll save you the rest of the details. But it was this beautiful fucking honest conversation where he got to go to a place with his kids that I think fucking 0.0001% of parents ever dare to go with their kids, of like deep actual fucking vulnerability and honesty. And it's so funny to me. I understand it, but it's funny to me that parents will say to their kids, you need to be 100% honest with me all the time. And then most parents spend most of the time parenting telling half truths or lying or hiding things or obfuscating because they're terrified that their kids will find out the truth. And it's like, you go first. You want your kids to be honest, you go first. So he's been embracing that. It's been fucking life changing. And he said his daughter, especially, and his son have just been opening up to him about stuff like bullying at school and stuff that they never told him before, because now he's being honest. And they're like, oh, well, daddy's not perfect. I guess I can not be perfect too. And we can all improve together. So yeah, if any of you are parents and you want some more deep stuff like this, or if you just want to have some sex or some money or whatever stuff you have, whatever beautiful goals you have, I will leave a link in the description to the coaching program. Like I said, we have payment plans, so don't let money be an issue. There are so many people in the group that don't have a lot of money, but they're like, I think this shit is worth it. I want to be happy. And I think that Andy and the other coaches can help me, and we absolutely can. So I will leave a link in the description to that. Thank you for being here, my beautiful girlfriend. And I don't just mean on this podcast. Thank you for being in this beautiful relationship with me for 6 years almost now. Be 6 years, what, next week? 2 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you a lot. I love you a lot.
I love you a lot too.
You have a nice face.
Thanks.
And I'm going to kiss it as soon as the podcast goes off. But I don't want these people to see that because that's like private stuff. We're going to do private stuff after this.
Are we?
Yeah, I'm kissing your face. Don't look at the fucking time. We got time. We're doing private stuff. Bye.
Bye.